desk. In the past, we covered many topics concerning law that initiated much of knowledge into us. But today, we are going to concern ourselves with a new hot topic with Sir Asad Abbas Butt. This topic concerns on how to purchase property and what featured documents are required for it. Sir Asad Abbas Butt is an advocate of the High Court and an expert in the field of law. He has resolved many topics, many problems in the court while taking care of many cases. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, sir, tell me, the purchasing of property, how does it work? Is it really important in our society or in this world of this time of day?
Of course, it's very important because you are going to invest your hard-earned money. So it's very important to be careful about and watchful about what you are going to purchase. Because if you do not care about the basic principle of purchasing a property, obviously you are going to face a lot of problems. So that's why it's very important to understand the procedures and requirement, what kinds of prerequisites are there and what kind of documents you should need to verify from different departments. So in our discussion we will discuss later on. But of course it's very important to have basic knowledge of regarding how to purchase a property.
Okay. और जब हम ये प्रॉपर्टी खरीद रहे होते हैं हमें बहुत सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स चाहिए होते हैं हमें क्या पता कि कौन से डॉक्यूमेंट सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी हैं उस चीज़ के लिए?
We need to understand that the basic document is the title document. If A is selling the property to B, so B is required to check the ownership of A. So it will depend that where the property is situated. Sometimes the property falls under the jurisdictions of revenue authorities, sometimes it is situated in the area of DHA, sometimes the regulatory authority is the LD. So it will depends that where the property is situated. Once it is verified that where the property is situated, we need to take the basic ownership document to the relevant department and get a certified copy from there. It may be a allotment letter, it may be a sale deed, it may be a transfer deed, it may be maybe another document which can lay down the foundation of the ownership of A, because A is selling the property to B. So the basic document is the ownership document. Okay. Then there are ancillary documents like we need to keep in our mind that whether the property has certain utility connections like the electricity connection, like the natural gas connection, like the telephone connections. So we need to keep in our mind this as well. And in certain cases it might be possible that previously the property might had been the subject of certain litigation, but now it's clear. But in order to be clear in your mind as a purchaser, you need to go into the background of that litigation. What kind of case was that? Where the court was that, what the court held, whether there any appeal is pending in the court or not. We need to keep in our mind all these things.
Okay, sir, जब आप कह रहे थे कि ये डॉक्यूमेंट्स जो आप रिसीव आप कर लोगे, जो आपको ये सही डॉक्यूमेंट्स आपको मिल जाएंगी, so आप खुद कह रहे थे कि आप विजिट करोगे उस एरिया उस ऑफिस को जिसमें आपको ये सबमिट करवाना है. How will you know which office you should visit?
Well, as I told you कि ये डिपेंड करेगा कि आपकी प्रॉपर्टी किस एरिया में फॉल करती है. मिसाल के तौर पे अगर आपकी प्रॉपर्टी रेवेन्यू अथॉरिटी के उसके पीछे रेगुलेटर है तो आप उसके एक हमारे कंसर्न जो रेवेन्यू ऑफिस हैं वहाँ पे हम जाते हैं, जिसे हम आप अपनी कानूनी ज़बान में पटवारखाना कहते हैं. तो वहाँ से जाके आप जो है वो अपनी फ़र्द को वेरीफाई करते हैं कि जो बंदा आपको दे रहा है प्रॉपर्टी, आया उसके नाम पे ओनरशिप स्टैंड करती है या नहीं करती. क्योंकि वो जो अगर ए आपको सेल कर रहा है और बी परचेज कर रहा है तो बी जो है ऑब्वियसली उसको एक सर्टेन डॉक्यूमेंट दिए जाएंगे और वो ऑब्वियसली जाके उस कंसर्न डिपार्टमेंट से वेरीफाई करें. अगर प्रॉपर्टी आपकी एलडीए में फॉल करती है तो ऑब्वियसली आपको एक अलॉटमेंट लेटर मिलेगा, आप वहाँ से जांच पड़ताल करके तो फिर आप जो है वो देख सकते हैं कि ए के ऑनरशिप के अंदर कोई इस तरह का खलल तो मौजूद नहीं है. इसी तरह से अगर डीएचए में प्रॉपर्टी सिचुएटेड है तो फिर आप उसकी ऑनरशिप का डॉक्यूमेंट लेके वहाँ से बेसिकली जब आप सेल करते हैं प्रॉपर्टी को तो आपको एक एनओसी भी इशू किया जाता है. एनओसी का मतलब ये होता है कि इस प्रॉपर्टी के ऊपर नो ऑब्जेक्शन सर्टिफिकेट, कि कोई इसके ऊपर इस तरह की बाड़ नहीं है, कोई इस तरह की कदर नहीं है, इस प्रॉपर्टी को जो है वो ट्रांसफ़र किया जा सकता है, आप सेल कर सकते हैं. लेकिन इसके बरक्स बाज़ औक़ात ये होता है कि आपकी प्रॉपर्टी जो है वो गुज़श्ता जो अदवार के अंदर किसी लिटिगेशन का जो है वो एक सब्जेक्ट रही हुई होती है, वो किसी लिटिगेशन का शिकार होती है। तो उस सूरत के अंदर फिर ये है कि आपको वहाँ से कोर्ट के अंदर ये देखना पड़ता है कि कोर्ट ने क्या जो है वो डिसीजन दिया, उसके अंदर जो है वो कोई अपील तो पेंडिंग नहीं है, कोई अपील का वक्त तो अभी बाकी नहीं है कि आप ये ना हो कि आप ए से प्रॉपर्टी खरीदें और पता चले कि 20 दिन के बाद जो है प्रॉपर्टी जो है उसके खिलाफ कोई अपील हो चुकी। तो ये सारी जो एक रिक्वायरमेंट्स है, सारी जो प्रिकॉशनरी मेजर्स है, ये आपको लेने पड़ते हैं ताकि कल को आप किसी जो है इस चीज़ का शिकार ना हो जाएं कि आप एक अपनी ह्यूज इन्वेस्टमेंट जो है उसको आप स्टेक पे लगा लें और पता चले कि एक नई लिटिगेशन स्टार्ट होगी। तो इन चीज़ों को सारा मद्देनज़र रखना बड़ा ज़रूरी है। फिर मैं समझता हूँ कि पहला जो स्टेप्स है, अगर आप स्टेप्स की बात करें तो उसके अंदर आप पहली जो चीज़ है वो आप टोकन अदा करते हैं। टोकन ये होता है कि आप ने सारी अमाउंट पे नहीं की, आपने चंद हज़ार रुपये दिए और आपने उनके ओनरशिप के जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स थे उनकी फ़ोटोकॉपी ली और फिर आपने अपनी सारी तसल्ली की। आपने कोई लॉयर्स को दिया या कोई नो लॉइंग बंदा है उससे आपने दिया, या आप खुद जाके उस रेलिवेंट डिपार्टमेंट से वेरीफाई करते हैं और फिर आप उसके बाद एग्रीमेंट टू सेल करते हैं। आप स्ट्रेट अवे परचेज नहीं करते। सेकंड स्टेप इज़ टू एग्रीमेंट टू सेल, कि यानी वो उसे जिसे हम अपनी ज़ुबान में उर्दू में बयाना भी कहते हैं, कि उसके अंदर अगर आप ये देखते हैं कि कोई अभी भी इसके अंदर टाइम लेना चाहिए, उसकी पोजेशन के मुतालिक, उस प्रॉपर्टी की जो है वो दूसरे डॉक्यूमेंटेशन के मुतालिक वो देखना चाहिए, तो फिर उसके अंदर मार्केट में जो एक ट्रेंड चलता है उसके अंदर 90 डेज़ का टाइम होता है कि 90 डेज़ के अंदर जो परचेज़र है, जो ख़रीदार है, वो अपनी जो है वो लेता है उस चीज़ को कि पेमेंट उसने कोई अरेंज करवानी है, कोई डॉक्यूमेंट वेरीफाई करवाना है, कोई भी ऐसी चीज़ जिसके लिए थोड़ा सा वक्त दरकार है, तो वो उसके बाद फिर एग्रीमेंट टू सेल के बाद तीसरी जो ट्रांजैक्शन होती है वो आपकी उसके मुतालिक होती है, जिसे आप बैनामा या सेल डीड कहते हैं या फाइनल ट्रांसफ़र कहते हैं। तो ये 3 स्टेप आपको मद्देनज़र रखने पड़ते हैं।
Okay. Or when you actually see this procedure, these steps, is it like irrespective of the property you're actually going to buy? Is it the same is it the same irrespective of the property?
Well, it will depend that what kind of property you are going to purchase. But if you ask that if the nature of the property will change the nature of transaction, so I think the basic principle would remain same. Like if you are purchasing a shop, or if you are purchasing a house, or if you are purchasing an apartment, so the procedure would be same. You just need to keep in your mind where the property is situated, in whose jurisdiction the property falls. Like if the property falls under the jurisdiction of DHA, then there is a procedure of transfer. You go there, they will conduct the whole procedure at the spot. They will take your snaps, they will take your thumb impression if you are selling your property. Similarly, if your property falls into the jurisdiction of LDA, the almost similar procedure will take place there. But if the property falls into the jurisdiction of Revenue Authority, then the procedure is different. Then you have to have a sale deed registered before the sub-registrar or concerned sub-registrar, and they will appoint a local commission who will conduct all the transaction before him. Like the sub-registrar will mostly appoint lawyers who conduct all the transfer procedure before them. They will call upon the parties at one place, and they will take their thumb impression, their signatures, their mode of payments, and the signature and the thumb impression of the witnesses, and their snaps. And there is another additional person which is called the identifier. He identifies the persons that A is selling the property, and I know A is actually A is not the B. He will verify that I know him for so many times, so much time, I know him for so many years, I know he is the same person who is actually signing or putting his thumb impression on the paper. So after completion all this procedure, the local commission will write his report on the back side of the sale deed that this proceeding, this transaction has taken place before him and before the witnesses, and now the sub-registrar will accept his report, and depending on the report of the local commission, he will transfer the property or he will actually register the sale deed in his record. And after that, there is another procedure. After getting your sale deed registered, you will take it before the revenue authority, and they will transfer in their record that on the basis of the sale deed, they will mutate the property in your favor. So that would be the procedure. And after going through these procedures, you need to keep in your custody 2 or 3 things. One is the sale deed, second one is the mutation proceeding, and the third one is the fard. Fard is actually showing that now the property has been transferred in your name. And there is a fourth document which is called the daily diary. Daily diary of the revenue authority is also mentioning that A was previously owner of property. On account of this mutation, now he sold the property because of this sale deed, and now we have transferred this property in favor of the B. So this is the daily diary. It is also an evidence that there took place the whole procedure, and the daily diary was written by the concerned officials. So it will depend that where you are purchasing the property, but the basic principle would remain same, because this is called the contract. The contract, when the contract is same, the basic ingredient of the contract would remain same. Because when these sale deed or mutation or transfer are challenged before the court will obviously see the different shades depending on the nature of property and the regulatory authority, but I think that the basic principle would remain the same.
Okay. Sir, you talked about how witnesses come and actually give a witness of the documentations and the whole procedure. Could you elaborate that? How do you get a witness for this whole procedure?
Well, the basic principle is that when A is selling the property to B, the one witness will be from the side of A and the other witness will be from the side of B, who's actually purchasing the property. So as per the Article 17 of Qanun-e-Shahadat, whenever there are certain financial transactions, it requires that there should be at least 2 male witnesses, and if 2 male witnesses are not available, 1 male witness and 2 female witnesses. So we need to have 2 witnesses when we are entering into any sort of financial transaction. So when any dispute arises, that these witnesses will dispose before the court that this transaction took place before them. But I think there might be some other circumstantial witnesses as well, like you have hire a lawyer in order to get it done. He can also be produced as a witness. The stamp paper you purchase from the concerned person or from the authority, then that can also be a witness and can be produced before the court. So it would depend that what kind of transaction has taken place.
Okay. And lastly, sir, could you tell me the procedure when you're actually, the whole procedure has gone through, you've told me the steps, in the end you're saying that the point where your selling documents have been approved. How do you pay the seller?
Well, it's very important questions. When you are paying the consideration or amount to the seller, because sometimes the seller says that before challenging the transaction before any court, they always say that look, we have not been paid. So do not pay them in cash. Prefer to pay them through some pay order, through some cross checks, through some other modules which can be proof before the court that this payment was paid in your regarding this transaction. And always try to mention the number of pay order or cross check in the document which is being prepared regarding this transaction. So this is very important piece of evidence, because if the seller later on refuses to have received this payment, you can produce your bank statement before the court. You can bring the bank manager before the court as a witness to prove your stance that you have paid this money to the seller and that consideration was paid. Because we need to understand consideration is one of the basic ingredients of a valid contract, in which a consideration or money has not been paid, the valid contract cannot be made. So when the basic ingredient is missing, the court will set aside the transaction. So we need to keep in our custody after the transaction the proof regarding the paying of the consideration. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Could you please tell our audience briefly about the steps of purchasing your property?
Yeah, as I was mentioning that, just we need to understand, firstly, to try to pay full amount to your seller. First, enter into an agreement to sell, or first token money to the seller, and after a thorough verification, try to pay the full amount to your seller. And as I was mentioning, try to pay through some banks in the shape of cross check or a pay order, so that if the later seller refuses to have received the money, you have the proof to show before the court that you have paid the consideration. So these were the basic ingredients which we need to keep under mind at the time of purchasing the property.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving us an insight about purchasing property. We will see you next time on another episode with more featured hot topics. My name is Manu Khan, and this is the Lawyer's Desk. See you next time.